Welcome to Deep Thought. The burden of a third eye. You know what? First, let me explain a third eye because there's a lot of, or at least my definition of a third eye. Because a general definition of it is the, shall we say, the inflatus of the brow chakra. Yeah. And for other people, it's, the crown chakra. Is used in like circles that believe in psychic gifts, and it might just refer to having psychic gifts or something. But the way I would use third eye is more of a state of consciousness, right? It's more of a state of consciousness where you can see through things. Literally, you can see through the veil. You can see through people's bullshit. You can see through people's lies, right? Like you can have some people, like especially in some urban environments, especially when you deal with some elders or some rural environments, you can see through. They can see through stuff, but you can't necessarily call it psychic. It's just, they live life, they experience stuff, and they can see bullshit. I mean, like I say, it's not necessarily a psychic thing. It's just maybe a life experience thing, or you're a person that seeks truth, whatever. You can see through the lies. You can see through the veil, right? And speaking of that urban or country thing, I remember this woman in Puerto Rico. Me and her clicked, and I remember she said, Ron, me and you are country folk, right? We can see through things, right? I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I saw through some things that evening. But look, the burden of a third eye. Thing is, one of the things with it, because I would say I see through a lot of stuff. In fact, I've had a lot of women especially tell me I have penetrating eyes, right? Because I see through them, and really I do, right? I see through lies. I see through mask. I'll put it like that, right? But it's a gift. But it's also a burden. It really is. Because here's the issue. You see through bullshit, but in a lot of cases, you got to put up with it. Because despite what people think, you can't really go around waking people up. Like a lot of people use that analogy of the Matrix, red pill, blue pill. And one thing that was in the original thing, Morpheus, the original movie, Morpheus said, we don't wake people up past a certain age because they can't really deal with it, right? And it's the same thing. You see through some stuff, like the relative truth of something or the reality of something. But one burden of it is you can't tell everybody. You cannot tell everybody if you have knowledge of something or whatever. Like that's one of the reasons I don't really discuss a specific religious path here. Now I've shown like respect to different paths and stuff, and if there's something in a specific path that is relevant to a conversation, I'll do that. But I don't really get into it because one of the things is there's in all the paths. I would say this: all the spiritual paths have basically been corrupted. Even some people who think, oh, well, we got our earth path or something, that's been corrupted too. Because people corrupted from whatever the founders like came up with initially, right? But if you see through that, you can't necessarily tell somebody that if they practice a particular path, because they might not be ready for it, or like what's really going on in like male-female relationships. Everybody isn't for it. Everybody has. Every single person has some level of false belief. Every single person has some level. It just depends on how much is it. Some people have very mild false beliefs and, they can function. Then some people have extreme ones, which cause them to have conflict with people around them. But if you're a person who can see through those personas and those masks, on one level it gives you some advantage, but on another level, if you're not a person that is by nature an exploiter, then that could be a problem. You have to deal with it, right? Because I was thinking the other day, like one thing I have a lot of moments of clarity. Like there's just sometimes I can sit back, be quiet, and then see everything I need to see. But you can't necessarily share it. Like there's a lot of stuff about relationships, and I've said this to people in private. Like in this community, you have that term red pill, but the reality is, if I explain some stuff, people will realize they're not red pill. In fact, they very far from it, extremely far from it. But then people ain't ready to hear it, because the thing is, if you shatter somebody's illusions, you can literally kill them. Everybody is held up, and they operate through whatever belief system that they have, even to the point that they can, if you shatter somebody's belief system, you can literally kill them. Like when people get sick, I would always say, look at whatever they believe or whatever their beliefs were at that time. Like when they get sick all of a sudden, a lot of people's sickness is when people get sick or they don't feel well. Many times, not always, but many times it's connected to some emotional going on in their lives, or something that shattered their belief system. That's why, like, when people break up, that's actually a great example. A lot of people get real sick, they lethargic, everything, right? And that really causes some stuff because, and really I need to do another podcast talking about this. A lot of sickness is just caused through stress and emotional duress. A whole lot of it. Like there's still a percentage that just is maybe some genetic, and some genetic comes up and you're in some type of environment that activates it. But even then that's still a stress, right? So you see all this and you're like, I could explain some stuff. Like using the red pill analogy again, there's some stuff I could explain and I could show it. I could provide receipts. But a lot of people would kill themselves. Many men would kill themselves if I showed something, if I showed certain things that I've been made aware of. And then that's a burden when you see that, because you're just like, you want to tell people as much as possible, right? And you want to help them, but at the same time, you bear some responsibility, because then you need to say to them, are you ready to be unplugged? Because they might not could deal with it. Because see, understand, like the analogy of the Matrix was great. The first two movies were questionable. The last two movies in the series were questionable, but the first one was great because it was based on so much. Some people say it was based on the concept of the Maya, and that's more not the ones from Central Mexico, but more of an Indian concept that all of this is just an illusion. But sometimes if you shatter that illusion, you could really hurt people. A lot of times people need the illusion of different things just to survive, right? That's why sometimes people can look at something, see the truth of something, and still not be able to acknowledge it. Because in them acknowledging it, they would have to change a whole lot. Because remember what I said, our belief systems hold us up. Everything we do, the way we vote politically, the way we worship a deity, the jobs we have, everything is based on our belief system. So when you can have the ability to see through that and maybe like shatter that belief system, that's a lot of power. That's a lot of power. And it's not even just a thing of hurting them, but just surviving, because there are times when I'm just like, you see some stuff, it's like, damn, I'm gonna have to ignore this or kind of compartmentalize it just to keep making money. And it's not like, and when I say it like that, it's like there are times when you just want to say, you know what, all this is some bull. Because like I said, there's some stuff, if I point it out, a lot of people would stop making money if I point it out. If I showed irrefutable proof of what I've observed, a lot of people would stop making money across the board. Right? But then, you hurting them too. And that is a burden. Sometimes, in the book 1984, there was a statement, ignorance is bliss. And you know what? Sometimes it really is. not knowing something is sometimes worse than actually knowing it. I mean, not knowing it, right? It's actually easier to get through life, but it's tough. It's I would say it's a great power, but it's a great responsibility too. But it is a burden. So anyway, that's all I had to share. That's all I got for you. Keep rising and transforming. Peace.